I'm Jeffrey Schatzman. I'm the president of the Commercial Law League of America, and I welcome you all to the Commercial Law League of America's annual luncheon. It now gives me great pleasure to introduce my good friend, Ivan Reich, who is the immediate president of the Commercial Law League, to come up and make this year's presentation for the Lawrence P. King Award.
It is with the utmost honor and pleasure that I, on behalf of the Commercial Law League of America, have been asked by this year's recipient of the 2013 Lawrence P. King Award for Excellence in Bankruptcy to present the award to the Honorable A.J. Cristol, Chief Judge Emeritus of the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the Southern District of Florida. Each year, the League receives several nominations of the award, and after consideration of the nomination, the years of contribution to the practice and administration of the process, the committee overwhelmingly recommended Judge Cristol as this year's recipient. Jeff briefly described the criteria a moment ago. Wanted to talk about who some of the past recipients are, several who might be in the room today. Lawrence King himself, in memorandum, Professor and now U.S. Senator Elizabeth Warren, the Honorable Joe Lee, the Honorable Thomas Small, Professor David Epstein, George Treaster, the Honorable Alexander Pasquet, the Honorable Robert Ginsburg, the Honorable Eugene Wedoff, I know I saw him here before, Honorable Judith Fitzgerald, who I know is in the room as well, and the Honorable Supreme Court Justice we gave last year to Justice John Paul Stevens. Here today with Judge Cristol to celebrate this honor as friends and colleagues of the Florida Bankruptcy Bench, including Judges Williamson, Olson, Mark, Isikoff, Spacey, Jackson, Glenn, and Delano. I thought I saw Judge McEwen before, but I know she's here as well. Along with the judge's son and daughter-in-law, Dr. Stephen Cristol, and his wife, Violetta, Cheryl Kaplan, the judge's chief law clerk, and her husband, Martin Ogawa, and the judge's personal friends, Jan Fleischman, Elizabeth Lapides, and retired Judge Joyce Bahari of Atlanta. Thank you all for being here to celebrate this honor with Judge Cristol. I know we all speak from all of us that we sorely miss the fact that your late wife, Ellie, a fixture at these conferences, couldn't be here today with you. But we know she's here in spirit and looking down upon you very proudly as you receive this honor here today. Judge Cristol received his BA degree from the University of Miami in 1958 and his LLB and JD degree cum laude from the law school in 1959, where he's the research editor of the Law Review. He's the past president of the University of Miami Law Alumni Association and served on the Board of Trustees of the university. He served as an adjunct professor at the university's law school, where he's taught an advanced bankruptcy course for over 20 years. Judge Cristol's commitment to his alma mater and the delivery of quality bankruptcy legal representation for the poor is best evident by his recent $1 million personal donation to fund the University of Miami's pro bono bankruptcy clinic. He served many years on the Board of Trustees for the Miami chapter of the American Red Cross, and he and his late wife, Ellie, had a passion for and helping out at the Miami Jewish Home and Hospital for the Aged. Judge Cristol served as a Special Assistant Attorney General of Florida from 1959 to 1965, and as a trustee in bankruptcy from 1975 to 1985. He was in private practice, handling all areas of commercial law from 1959 through 1985, when he was first appointed to the bench as a bankruptcy judge for the Southern District of Florida, and is now serving his 28th year on the bench. And he served as our district's chief bankruptcy judge from 1993 until 1999. He served on the 11th Circuit's Bankruptcy Committee and the Judicial Conference's Advisory Committee on Bankruptcy Rules. But Judge Cristol is not shy about talking about things that he's passionate about. He testified before Congress in 2007 and attacked the then current administration and U.S. trustees programs for its harsh policies towards individuals in bankruptcy. In conjunction with various programs sponsored by the Open World Program, the ABI, the World Bank, the U.S. State Department, and NCBJ itself, Judge Cristol has taught and has a passion for teaching U.S. bankruptcy law both here and in other countries to judges from the Ukraine, Russia, Thailand, Czech Republic, Slovenia, Hong Kong, Malaysia, India, Thailand, and South Africa. He's a fellow of the American College of Bankruptcy and both the American and Florida Bar Foundations, and he served on this body's International Law Committee and Board of Governors. But there's more to Judge Cristol than just being a judge. He served his country proudly as a captain in the Navy and the Naval Reserve with 38 years of service in the diverse roles of both being a carrier pilot and as a Navy lawyer. He earned his wings in 1953 and deployed with an anti-sub squadron to the Western Pacific, where he flew day and night Grumman AFs from the aircraft carrier USS Princeton near Korea in the South China Sea, both as a hunter and a killer during the Korean conflict, and later served as a volunteer airlift flyer in Vietnam in the 1960s. He's received numerous medals from the Navy for his service, including Meritorious Service, Navy Commendation, Navy Achievement, China Service, National Defense, Navy and Marine Corps Overseas Service, Naval Reserve, and Vietnam Service. He is a founding member of the National Museum of Naval Aviation in Pensacola, as well as over the wings of Miami Aviation Museum in Miami, where he serves as its historian. He has taught senior military officers from numerous countries at the United States Naval Justice School on the law of naval warfare at the International Institute of Humanitarian Law in San Remo, Italy. Early in his career, he spent 2 years flying as a commercial pilot, flying out of LaGuardia for the Eastern Airlines. I have found out that Judge Cristol has only had 2 engine failures in his entire career. But one of those times was in August of 2002, when he was donating his time, as he often does, to fly for Angel Flight America. It's an organization of volunteer pilots who fly low-income people to hospitals because they can't afford to travel long distances to receive medical care. Judge Cristol had flown a 4-year girl and her baby brother and their mother to their home in Fort Myers, Florida, after they had been treated at a hospital in Miami for a type of eye cancer. During the engine failure and the emergency landing was made by the judge on US 27 west of Miami in the Everglades without incident. But the incident serves as a reminder of one of the judge's many passions, which is in particular helping those in need, particularly the poor. However, his flying record has not always been so spotless. And just want you to know that Judge Cristol once actually shot his own aircraft during a practice run in the Yuma, Arizona desert when he fired a rocket at a row of school buses, which ricocheted back and actually hit and went through his aircraft's wing. But Judge Cristol's also a noted author. He's written not only on the law and bankruptcy and other areas, but on aviation, history, and other subjects. And I don't know how many of you know this, but this is very interesting. At the urging of a professor at a class he was auditing at the University of Miami, Judge Cristol began a master's program with a review of what's known as the Liberty Incident of the Six-Day War in 1967. Israeli forces had accidentally fired on a neutral American ship in international waters. 34 Americans were killed. While numerous official investigations concluded that it was merely an accident, conspiracy theories surfaced nonetheless. Judge Cristol's independent research also concluded that it was accidental. His hard work and dissertation on the Liberty Incident ultimately earned him a PhD from the Graduate School of International Studies at the University of Miami in 1997. His 2002 work is a seminal work on the issue and is critically acclaimed, called The Liberty Incident, which is published by Brassey's Inc. What's also interesting is since then, Judge Cristol sued the National Security Agency and won the release of radio transmissions intercepted by the U.S. military of the Israeli Air Force at the time of the attack. With that new information and declassified information in hand, Judge Cristol just recently updated and republished his book, and which further confirms his ultimate conclusion that this was an accidental incident. Judge Cristol has presided over many high-profile bankruptcy cases and related proceedings. He's handled the Chapter 11 reorganizations of General Development Corp., Prime Motors Inc., Flanagan's, and Banco Latino International, and the Fountain Blue Las Vegas. In 2007, he made national headlines when in a Chapter 7, he upheld Ronald Goldman family's $38 million secured claim against the sham company set up by O.J. Simpson, and ultimately approved a deal that allowed the Goldman family to obtain the rights to Simpson's canceled book, If I Did It. However, Judge Cristol's also earned a special reputation for fairness and resolve in aviation-related legal proceedings. And he's presided over the aviation Chapter 11 cases of Carnival Airlines, Gemini, Falcon, Arrow Air, Pan American Airways, Fine Air, and Amerijet, a case in which he had confirmed in only 85 days in his court. The Pan Am plan was confirmed in only 4 months, and the company was so pleased with the result that in July of 1998, in its first new aircraft, a Pan Am Boeing 727-200, they named the Clipper A.J. Cristol, which then Judge Cristol immediately got behind the wheel and flew. Arrow Air also later gave him that same honor when it painted the name Judge A. Cristol on the side of one of its Douglas DC-862s. He's also received other honors. He's known as a 2011 Legal Legend by the History Society, which is the 11th Judicial Circuit's Historical Society. The 2013 Footlighter of the Year by the Footlighters of South Florida, which is similar to New York's Friar Club, devoted to assisting indigent entertainers and musicians. He's going to be receiving the 2014 Fort Chaplains Memorial Foundation Legion of Honor, an award in recognition of lifetime commitment to selfless service and societal advancements, which has been awarded to Presidents Truman, Eisenhower, Carter, and Reagan, as well as Bob Hope, Mickey Rooney, John Glenn, and James Michener. He's going to be receiving the University of Miami School of Law Center for Ethics and Public Service William Hoover Award for ethics, leadership, and public service in the legal profession. And while he's written on such mundane topics as labor law and tax law and civil procedure and all the typical bankruptcy topics that most of the judges here have written on, how many judges in this room could also say that they've written on topics such as a terrorist is a terrorist is a terrorist, or Blue Thunder Patrol, drug interdiction off Cape Florida, or the day I flew the Goodyear blimp. Okay. So besides his extensive writing, as Jeff mentioned, Judge Cristol is very well known in our district for his excellent humor both on and off the bench. His sarcasm and wit are legendary in our community, and many of us in this room have been at the end of his tongue and his pen as either a victim or a benefit of that sarcasm. One of my favorite cases is a cited case called In Re Vivian, where Judge Cristol sanctioned a bank's computer that wouldn't stop sending dunning letters to a debtor by fining it 50 megabytes of hard drive memory and 10 megabytes of random access memory. Okay? But he did allow him to purge the contempt if it would stop sending the letters. Judge Cristol's also been known for many of his famed rhyming opinions, which have been known to turn the humdrum of what's sometimes a boring minutia of a mundane bankruptcy matter and turn them into entertaining readings. In the case of Love, based on To the Raven, I quote, "Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary over many quaint and curious files of Chapter 7 lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. 'Tis some debtor, I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this and nothing more." In the GDC case I mentioned before, in writing about the confirmation, he wrote, "There are strange things done in the Florida sun by the men who mull for gold. GD sales had their secret tales that would make your blood run cold. Bankruptcy fans have seen big plans, but one of the biggest they ever did see was at the end of the second year when hope did appear and we reorganized GDC." One case he wrote in Re E.S. Bankest, "The motion is granted, that's all for today. Go ye and try to move this case on its way." Written to the Twas the Night Before Christmas. And to Green Eggs and Ham, which, you know, Senator Cruz can appreciate. In the case of the Riddles, where he actually denied his own sua sponte motion for dismissal. Okay? Okay? All right? What does automatic dismissal mean, and by what means can it be seen? Are we only left to guess? Oh, please, Congress, fix this mess. Until it's fixed, what shall I do? How can I explain this mess to you? And with that, I present you bankruptcy judge, Renaissance man, naval hero, pilot, historian, author, poet, terrorism expert, nursing home volunteer, and your 2013 recipient of the Lawrence B. King Award for Excellence in the Field of Bankruptcy, the Honorable A.J. Cristol.
Mr. President Schatzman, Mr. Past President Ivan Reich, thank you. Distinguished members of the judiciary, members of the Commercial Law League, guests, family, and friends. I am deeply humbled by this great honor that has been bestowed upon me. To be in the company of Professor Senator Elizabeth Warren and Supreme Court Justice Paul Stevens leaves me feeling like a midget in the Valley of the Giants. I accept this honor not just for me, but for all of you and for the United States bankruptcy system. Bankruptcy has been with us since the beginning of recorded history, and it has gone through an interesting evolution. In ancient days, it started with the execution of bankrupt debtors. The Greeks refined the system to allow creditors to seize a debtor and his family as slaves to work off the debt. The Romans followed the Greek slavery model, but added an alternative. In the third Roman tablet, item 2, if the debtor did not pay the debt in 60 days, he could be sold as a slave, or, at the creditor's option, the creditors could cut up the debtor's body and divide it among the creditors. No doubt Shakespeare's inspiration for a pound of flesh in The Merchant of Venice. In the Far East, Genghis Khan had a baseball rule. Okay for the first 2 bankruptcies, but 3 strikes and you were out. Executed. In Indonesia, execution was replaced by flogging. In the Middle Ages in Italy, the British model was generated by the banca rota, or broken bench procedure, where the debtor's assets were seized and the debtor was driven away. Next came debtors' prisons in both England and the United States. I once proposed that we should establish lenders' prisons for those bank officers who made loans not properly underwritten. The idea was not warmly received by the banks. The British model then came into its own: seize and distribute the assets, and the debtor be damned. Finally, we came to modern times, and the United States' kinder and gentler duals concepts of fresh start for the honest debtor and preservation of value through reorganization in Chapter 11, which in most cases is far better for everyone than liquidation. It should be noted that prior to 1891, there was no Chapter 11 reorganization. A very important element in softening the consequences of economic failure is the creation of an environment for risk-taking. The fabulous success of the American economy is very likely the result of our ability to take economic risks without fear of being beheaded, flogged, or imprisoned if we fail, but rather being given the opportunity of a fresh start. I am proud of these practical and humane concepts that have developed here in America. Nothing makes me feel better than working a case where an honest debtor gets another chance, or a family gets to stay together in a home saved from foreclosure, while at the same time the creditor gets maximum return, a win-win situation for everyone. It is this aspect of American bankruptcy that we all participate in together every day, all the lawyers, all the judges. For this reason, I say that this award is really a celebration of our American bankruptcy system, and it belongs not just to me, but also to all of you. Can we do more or make the system better? Yes. First, we can eliminate the credit counseling requirement 5 days prior to filing a petition. This is as valuable as telling a person who has suffered a heart attack that they need to listen to a lecture on healthy eating and exercise before they can have open heart surgery. The personal financial management course requirement at the end of the case is of some value, but probably too little, too late. It would be far better if a financial literacy course was required of every student before graduation from every high school in the United States. Next, there's a need to eliminate the license to enslave created by the failure to impose fair and reasonable usury laws. When I began my law practice in Florida over 50 years ago, it was unlawful to charge an individual more than 10% interest, 15% for corporations. Today, some credit card companies charge over 33%. Payday lenders, auto title lenders, and other de facto, though legally protected usurers, charge into the multi-hundreds percent. These outrageous interest rates should be outlawed and criminalized. Education should be free in the United States, as it is in most developed countries. If we continue with student loans, I see little difference between a person who borrows $100,000 to open a pizza shop and fails and can be discharged from his debt and given a fresh start, and a person who borrows $100,000 to obtain an education and fails in the profession or job he or she trained for. Why must they show undue hardship? Isn't plain ordinary hardship enough? The undue hardship criteria should be replaced with dischargeability upon proof that the debtor is unable to succeed or earn a living above the poverty level in the job for which the debtor trained. Finally, we do a lot of good in Chapter 13, but we could do a lot more if Section 1322H were repealed. We could probably save 1 or 2 million homes while at the same time providing maximum return to the lenders. Another win-win situation for all concerned. It could be the law if the major banks were not so greedy and stupid. So let us rejoice in the knowledge that we, all of us, do something worthwhile, something good. We are, every day, helping people who need help and are not able to help themselves. That is what excellence in bankruptcy is all about. Thank you, and God bless all of you, and God bless the American bankruptcy system.